What's going on, everybody? Today we've got another rebuild here on the channel, and it is a challenge rebuild. We're going to be rebuilding FC Barcelona only using players from the La Masia Academy, or players that Barcelona have produced. So right now in this starting 11, these essentially are all the players that we can utilize that Barcelona have had come through the ranks at La Masia or have produced. So a player like Dani Olmo, yes, they did just transfer him back in, but as you can see, from 2012 to 2014, he was at Barcelona before moving to Dinamo Zagreb, so he is eligible to be part of the squad. And another player in that same boat is Eric Garcia. He was there from 2016 to 2017 before going to Man City and then coming back. So he once again is a player that we'll be able to have here for this rebuild. A majority of these other players, though, are from the La Masia Academy. Now, I have gone ahead and transferred out quite a few players. Ended up selling Jules Koundé to Bayern Munich. Rafinha is going to Arsenal with a loan to buy. He joins permanently next season. Sold Robert Lewandowski to Liverpool. Andreas Christensen to PSG. Frankie de Jong with a loan to buy to Liverpool, who joins permanently next season. Ronald Araujo also to Liverpool. And then Ferran Torres on a loan to buy with Newcastle. Not sure they're going to trigger that. Hopefully they do, though. But there are three players no one wanted to put bids in for, so I'm kind of stuck with them for right now. Those are Inigo Martinez, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and Wojciech Szczesny. Now, thankfully, all these players' contracts are up essentially at the end of the year, except for Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Probably going to try and loan him out or transfer him out next season, being that no one wants him right now. But essentially, we're only going to be using Barcelona-produced players for this entire rebuild. So instead of transferring in players, our transfer windows are essentially going to be when our youth intake comes in March. So come then to Season 1, I'll be showing that to you. But so far, good start in the league. We are in first on 12 points, not dropping a game so far. And in our Champions League group, we have Inter Milan, Stuttgart, and BSC Young Boys. So hopefully we could go on some good runs, maybe win a trophy here or there. Probably Copa del Rey is going to be the most realistic one, as well as the Supercopa de España as of right now. But let's go ahead and simulate Season 1, see how we do. So, Season 1, done and dusted. How did we do? We finished second in the league based off of goal difference. We were equal with Real Madrid on 96 points, got to a quarterfinal of the Champions League, quarterfinal of the Copa del Rey, but we did win the Supercopa de España, so thankfully we did at least win one trophy. Hopefully we could add the Supercopa next season, but I mean, off the rip, using players that essentially aren't insane, like our depth is not incredible. I mean, we've got some players that definitely need to do some growing. I would say probably Furman is one of our best depth options off the bench, so nothing too crazy, and we still did really well, which is great to see. I think players like Olmo, Yamal, Pedri, as well as Kubarsi are going to be pretty darn important for us. Player production-wise, Ansu Fati led the way with 25 goals. Yamal had 22, Olmo at 19, Pablo Torre with 10. Assist-wise, we've got Olmo at 18, Yamal at 16, and Balde with 10. Highest average rating was, let's look for someone that actually played a boatload of games. We got Lamine Yamal, 7.31. When it comes to our youth intake and players that we could potentially see in the future, we've got Carlos Anton, Feliu Marquez, and Robert, who look to be some of our best prospects. Robert, he actually looks pretty darn good. Probably going to be training him to play off the wing, if not on the wing, then as a 10. I think those would probably be the two best spots to have him playing from. He looks pretty good. He's great with both feet already at 15. But there's Season 1 wrapped up already. Let's go ahead and move on to Season number 2. So we do have some transfers out here for Season number 2. Out on a loan, potential option to buy at Arsenal is Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Ended up selling Pablo Torre to Alcazia. And one player I really did not want to lose, I like this kid a lot, he's very good in defensive midfield, was Marc Bernal. He refused to sign a contract, wanted to go to Chelsea, so we ended up selling him, which does help us with our financial situation here at Barcelona. Because even though we're trying to have success here at Barcelona with all the La Masia products, because even though we're trying to have success here with all of our La Masia players here with Barcelona, we still need to try and clear all these debts the best that we can in our time here with Barcelona. And last player out on loan once again is going to be Ferran Torres. Once again with an option to buy for Man City. Hopefully they do trigger it. But here is our group for this season. We now are 100% going to be having Iñaki Peña as our goalkeeper. This is going to probably be the weakest link in our side right now, aside from our depth. Now, depth-wise, we do have Furman here still. Hopefully, he can become a pretty good bench option for us. We've also moved up Noah Darvic from our U18s. Now, Oriol Romeu, unfortunately, no one wanted him, so he's going to be with us until his contract expires this season. And then looking at other players, probably Pal Prim, I'm hoping can become something for us as well. But we've got quite a few players here that we're going to be trying to get games and hopefully help us have a successful season number 2. We currently are sitting in 6th, so I expect to see a drop-off being that Ter Stegen and Szczesny are both gone now. Probably going to have a drop-off this season within the league, maybe win the Supercopa or the Copa del Rey, we will see. But Champions League-wise, we've got Celtic, Liverpool, Arsenal, Valencia, Bayer Leverkusen, Juve, Sporting, and Marseille coming up for us, which honestly, that's not easy whatsoever. That is not an easy schedule. That is pretty tough. So if we can get through an automatic spot, I'll feel fairly confident with the direction that this side is going. I think the tactic that we're rocking, which right here we see, it's my 4-2-3-1 Frosty. Very good tactic. Dropped it on Christmas. If you guys wish to give this tactic a look, I'll be linking the video for this tactic down below in the description. But it allows us to kind of overperform our means. We aren't an incredibly elite side. We're not making any transfers. We're essentially developing all of our talent here at the club. So hopefully we can just get everyone to get to their max potentials, and it will really help us have some big time success in the future. But now that we've gone over all that, let's go ahead, simulate through season 2, see how we do. All right, season 2 has come and gone. Did we improve? Technically, I guess you could say. I mean, Real Madrid ran away with the league. They won the league on 102 points. We were in second on 86. Got knocked out in the playoff round by Juve. So regressed there, regressed in the league kind of. But we did win the Copa del Rey. So, I mean, definitely better than last season, I would say, especially in that competition. But we were runners-up in the Supercopa de España. So we're getting there slowly but surely. We just really got to focus on the development and hope that the FM gods bless us with some amazing players, especially a goalkeeper, because rocking with Iñaki Peña this whole time will probably be a little bit difficult. But I mean, for 53 games, he essentially played every single game that he could. He had 21 clean sheets, so I'll gladly take that. When it comes to overall player production, we got Lamine Yamal as well as Ansu Fati both on 23 goals each. Dani Olmo on 21, Fairman with 13 off the bench, essentially. Pedri with 12. Assist-wise, Balde with 21, Yamal with 16, Gavi with 14, Olmo with 13. Highest average rating was Mr. Alejandro Balde with a 7.45, but Lamine Yamal right there on a 7.4. When it comes to the youth intake this season, as that essentially is our transfer window, we've got 3 pretty good elite talents coming through once again. Khalid El Kharti, Nicholas Cataldi, as well as Conor Rivera having an American come through. That's kind of nice right there. But we've got Nicholas Cataldi potentially being the best one coming through, a defensive midfielder, so great to boost that area of the squad. He looks to be pretty darn good at 16. I think he's going to be a mental magician. Physically speaking, he's probably going to be well-rounded, but nothing crazy. And technically, already, he looks to have some decent playmaking ability right there. But we're going to go ahead, move on to Season 3, see if we make any more sales to reduce our debt, and definitely see what players are going to be promoted potentially to the first team. All right, so here we are, Season 3. We did end up finally selling Ferran Torres. We ended up selling him to Juve. And then we ended up selling Marc-Andre Ter Stegen to Chelsea, while also offloading youngster Lucas Roman. When it comes to the first team, we have 2 kind of major promotions. A lot of the players are still kind of the same from previous years, but we have got Mr. Shane Koiver. He has been promoted up to the first team, as well as Kim Yunyet, I believe is how you say his name. Looking forward to seeing what both can offer us. So far here in Season 3, we're 4 games through the season. We sit in 3rd place on 12 points, same as Real Madrid, same as Atletico Madrid. And Champions League-wise for our schedule, we've got Club Brugge, RB Leipzig, AC Milan, Bodo Glimt, Feyenoord, Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Girona. Definitely, in my opinion, easier than last season's. I think that this is going to be a group that we should 100% get through in the league phase. Now, last season we didn't. We got knocked out in the playoff, I believe it was. So hopefully this season we can go through automatically, not have to worry about that, and go straight to the round of 16. And I definitely do believe we have the players to help us do that. I mean, Ansu Fati's become one heck of a player now, as has Pedri, Dani Olmo. Lamine Yamal is one of the best in the world, as is Gavi and Alejandro Balde. But honestly, low-key, I think one of our most important players is going to be Pau Cubarsí. He's essentially one of the best defenders in the world now, and with him at the back in front of Inaki Peña, I think that it's going to help us drastically if he can continue to keep on improving, as he is only 19 years of age right now and is already this darn good. So, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead, go through Season 3, see how we get on. Alright, Season 3 has been simulated. How did we do? We essentially did the same as last season. So we finished on a way higher point total, on 98 points. Madrid won the league on 103 points. So essentially, we got to win darn near every game to topple Madrid, it looks like. Knocked down the playoff round once again, this time by Liverpool. We won the Copa del Rey again, though, so we've won that back-to-back, but we're back-to-back runners-up in the Supercopa de España. When it comes to player production, we've got Dani Olmo having a heck of a season. He had 30 goals, Ansu Fati with 28, Lamine Yamal with 27, Pedri with 14, Pau Cubarsí with 12. You go to the assists, Dani Olmo not only led in goals, but he led in assists. He had 26 of them, Lamine Yamal with 19. It looks like he was pretty spread out for assists. Highest average rating, Lamine Yamal on a 7.51. When it comes to our youth intakes, only one great player came through this time, Emily Esteves. He is a right winger, can also play up top. Definitely going to have some growing to do at 15 years of age. But one thing that is quite frustrating right now is we aren't getting goalkeepers coming through. Like we're getting some that'll be like a 2-star, 2.5, maybe 3, but no one that's really gonna like be insane for us and definitely be able to take over from Inaki Peña in the future, which, to be fair, he's not doing bad. Once again, playing 53 games and he had 26 clean sheets, so he's actually doing pretty darn good. Might be one of the more underrated players, I'd say, in FM. But through 3 seasons so far, we've got 3 trophies to our name. 2 are the Copa del Rey, 1 Supercopa de España. I want a major trophy. If we can win the league or if we can win the Champions League, that'd be great. Real Madrid is showing to be a massive problem with this. This challenge is not easy. It's not supposed to be. It's pretty frustrating. So if you do wish to take on this type of challenge, just know you're going to need some luck on your side to be able to win those leagues, win those Champions Leagues, and complete what is the La Masia Challenge. But now we're going to go ahead and move on to Season 4, see if we have any departures and who is being promoted to the first team. Alright, so Season 4 has arrived, and no transfers this season. Essentially just loaned a bunch of players out. We still essentially have our best starting 11 here. They are growing quite a bit. I mean, Pedri, Olmo, Yamal, that is a great 3 to have right there behind Ansu Fati. They are very lethal as a front 4, but there is one major promotion to the first team that we're going to see getting some playing time this year, and it's going to be Robert. Robert, I think, is definitely ready to take that next step. Now, obviously, so it says he's a La Liga standard player. Compared to Lamal and everyone else, he's not like elite, but he definitely has the potential to get up there. I think that he is going to be one heck of a player. Hopefully he is going to be coming off of the right side for us, but he can play at the 10 as well, even though it's probably going to be Noah Dorovic a majority of the time. But his physicals are looking to be pretty darn solid, and I love his work rate of 15 as well. So he's going to be a pretty hard-working 17-year-old for us. But one thing I am kind of hoping for within this side is some major improvement from two specific players. You can probably tell who they're going to be based on the role ability right here, because Inaki Peña is doing absolutely phenomenal, not going to lie. But one is Mr. Hector Fort. I hope that he can end up hitting the heights that he most definitely can. He is a very solid player, though, don't get me wrong. And then the other is going to be Mr. Mark Caicedo. I think that he is a player that could definitely take a jump up. He's a very, very solid option for us. But I mean, Gavi compared to him is just a world apart. Still, very, very good and consistent player, though. Now, when it comes to the league this season, I have noticed something through 4 games already. It's that we're having a pretty solid start to the season. We are 2-2, though, on 8 points, sitting in 4th. The 3 clubs above us are Valencia, Celta Vigo, and Sevilla. So Atletico Madrid's beneath us, and Real Madrid's down in 9th currently. So it is early on. It's only 4 games in, but maybe this is the season that we can catch them slipping and at least win the league. When it comes to the Champions League, we will start things off against Galatasaray. We then have RB Leipzig, Ajax, Olympiacos, Porto, PSG, Marseille, and Molde. If we do not automatically qualify from those games, we might need to change our system up potentially for the tactic. But I mean, we're doing really well. We are overachieving, I think, with the talent that we currently have. Yes, we do have some world-class players, but we have a lot of players that still need to grow. The past 2 seasons, league playoff knockout, we need to get to the round of 16. Hopefully we can get there with this type of schedule that they have given us. I mean, PSG and Leipzig, they're going to be the hardest games most likely. Marseille can be pretty difficult as well. Same with Galatasaray, but hopefully we can definitely get through comfortably and have a good year in the Champions League. But here we are, Season 4. Let's go ahead, simulate on through, and see how we do. So here we are, Season 4 has been simulated, and we are greeted with a final in the Champions League against Arsenal. We actually found a way to get all the way to a Champions League final here in year 4, where Gavi would put us up 1-0 in the 41st minute, Lamine Yamal would put a shot on, rebound, put home by Pedri, and we would win 2-0. Which would secure us the Champions League title. We also won the Copa del Rey. We got knocked out in the semifinal of the Supercopa de España. And once again, we lose out on the league, probably on the last day, it looks like. Once again, due to goal differential against Real Madrid. But looking at how our players produced this season, it's no wonder we were actually able to win the Champions League. This is the best production that we have had so far. I think everyone's finally hit their stride. We're a few years in. A lot of people have done some incredible growing as players. We got Lamine Yamal with 34 goals, Dani Olmo with 30, Ansu Fati on 28, Kubarsi with 16, Pedri with 15, Noah Darvic with 12. Assist-wise, Lamine Yamal with 26 assists, Balde 19, Olmo 18, Fort 16. So he took a jump up that I needed him to, as did Mark Caicedo. That's awesome to see them back-to-back right there, 14 assists. Pedri with 11 assists, Gavi with 10. Highest average rating, Lamine Yamal with a 7.62. So when looking at it, this system definitely was one to be trusted. It helped us overachieve drastically, I think, with the talent that we currently have. We have some world-class players, don't get me wrong, but one thing that is going to be a little bit troublesome probably heading into Season 5, which will be the last season, being that we won a Champions League title. We have a lot of players that are wanted, a lot. Some of them are on in a contract, but some of them are transfers. And seeing that Inaki Peña is wanted by Inter Milan as well as Juve, that is actually pretty nice to see. He has been doing absolutely fantastic. 35 clean sheets this season. I know I've kind of complained about maybe he's not up to par talent level wise. He's honestly probably one of the most underrated goalkeepers in FM. If you have not had him, probably try him out, because he has helped this Barcelona side compete night in, night out now for 3 consecutive seasons. But when looking at the talent coming through in our youth intake, we have 4 players that look to be pretty decent. Anthony Arola, Eugeni Bari, Alberto Iturino, and Saiku Ba. Now, all of them can play in attacking positions, essentially. Technically speaking, with that for Eugene Bari, as he could play on the right wing. But what I love seeing, and we were just talking about Inaki Peña, Anthony Arola is a potential 4-star goalkeeper. We have a goalkeeper that has come through, and he has height. He's 6'2", he's 16, great with both feet. We might have a gem on our hands for the future. Speaking of the future with this club, you will actually be able to take over this save if you wish to do so. I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description. It will be within the download section of the Discord. That's where you can download it from and choose to take on this save and continue doing it how I have done it, only having La Masia players come through, and that is your squad. Or you will have a boatload of money probably to be able to pour into this club. We have done pretty well with reducing the debts. As we can see here, our overall balance is £674 million. We have £405 million in the transfer budget. However, we still have £242 million remaining to pay off with our debt. So we still need to get there, but hopefully we can definitely reduce that next season. But for those of you that wish to take over the club post season 5, you're going to have a heck of a lot of money to work with, because I have not touched it whatsoever. But now, speaking of season 5, let's go ahead and move on and see what type of team we're going to have for our 5th and final season. All right, here we are, season 5. Once again, no transfers out really, just some loans. We did lose some players on freeze, unfortunately, that did not want to sign contracts, but majority of the players that we need to win now and win as much as we can in this final season are here in front of us now. We essentially have the exact same starting 11. Everyone is the best that they have been so far, technically, and bench-wise, I think this is the strongest bench we've had as well, because if I sort it by reports right here, we can look at our ability. And I mean, we have some world-class talent. Our worst player in the starting 11 is Hector Fort. But I mean, we've got some pretty solid players, and Robert has done some growing. We've got Javier Spart, Noah Darvich, Fairman, Alex Valles, Shane Koiver. They're all doing very, very well. Kim Yanyet, he has actually been a nice surprise, because originally he could only play central midfield and as a 10, as being 100% natural there, but he is now a natural striker. So he is going to be a very fun player to see how he produces coming on for Ansu Fati in certain games. I think he'd be much better suited to a false 9 deep line forward type role, which, as we see, false 9 would be his best. He's not the quickest striker. He's also 5'7", so I think that he will actually be able to produce somewhat coming off the bench, and I think Noah Darvich is going to be a pretty important player as well, especially in that 10 spot. But I think this is the season where we definitely see Robert take a big time jump. In season 1, he played 14 times for us, scored 5 goals. He is now considered a good La Liga player, so hopefully he will be in the starting 11 or a starting 11 mainstay come next season if you choose to take this save over. But looking at everything, I'm really happy with the growth that we have seen from a lot of players. They are looking pretty good. And it shows in the league already, as through 4 games, we're in first on 10 points. We are runners up already, though, in the UEFA Super Cup, so it sucks that we didn't win that. But if we could go back-to-back in the Champions League, that'd be great, and win the Copa del Rey once again. If we can win the league in our last season, that'd be awesome. We're currently in first, a point ahead of Real Madrid. I feel like if we win the league, it's going to be like by the slimmest of margins, because Real Madrid's been so darn good. But with the Champions League, we actually start off with Real Madrid. So, big time match immediately. Then we've got Ajax, Copenhagen, Chelsea, Juve, Porto, Legia Warsaw, and Monaco. Once again, I think that we should be able to automatically qualify. If we don't, it's going to be a hard road on us, because we're going to have to play 2 extra games. But I think that we can, with this group, potentially repeat as Champions League winners, as long as we get the luck like we have so far. We have been pretty lucky with some of the matchups that we have gotten, and I think as long as we can avoid big time teams like an Arsenal, a Man City, a Liverpool from the other leagues, we're going to be okay. But there we go. Season 5, ready to go. Let's go ahead and simulate, see how we do. So Season 5 is here, and once again, we get game highlights, which that can only mean one thing. We at least won one trophy. Now this is from a league match against Rayo Vallecano. We ended up winning by a score of 7-0. This is the match that ended up securing the league title for us. We also ended up winning the Copa del Rey. We also ended up winning the Copa de España. But thanks to the 94th minute Noah Darvic pen in the Champions League final, we ended up winning a quadruple in our final season here with Barcelona. It took us some time to get there. The growth really helped. A lot of the players that you kind of expect to be the main guys, they really stepped up in this rebuild. I did not expect players like Dani Olmo, Pedri to really play to the levels that they did. Same with Gavi. Alejandro Balde was one heck of a player throughout it. He was a very fun player to see develop. He is one heck of a left back. But another name I mentioned was Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo should have been up for at least 3 Ballon d'Ors by now. He hasn't been nominated for a single one, but he has been absolutely fantastic. But someone who has been nominated for a Ballon d'Or is Mr. Lamine Yamal, who is essentially the best player in the world at this point. He ended up finishing runner-up, though, in the Ballon d'Or to none other than Kylian Mbappe. So Real Madrid always finds a way to beat us somewhere. But in our final season, winning the quadruple, absolutely ecstatic with that. When it comes to player production, I can definitely see why. Dani Olmo with 31 goals, Lamine Yamal with 22, Ansu Fati with 20, Pedri had 18, Noah Darvic with 16, even though he only had 11 starts. He's one heck of a bench option. Definitely look to bring him in if you have not had him. Clem Yanyent, 11 goals. So he got 20 starts. That's awesome to see. Pau Cubarsí with 11 goals there. Assist-wise, Lamine Yamal with 25. This is the season that should win him a Ballon d'Or, because I looked at what Mbappe did this season, and Lamine Yamal did much better. Marc Caicedo with 15. Pedri with 13. Same with Olmo. Then you got 10 from Alex Valle and 10 also from Alejandro Balde. Highest average rating was looking from a player that actually played a majority of the games, was Lamine Yamal with a 7.55. When it comes to our final youth intake, we had 4 players come through once again, 2 center backs as well, which I don't really get that a whole heck of a lot here in FM. We got Borja as one of them, Emily Rosales, Yona Alfelt, and Pep Garrido. It's probably Garrido. The highest potential-wise out of all of them is Jonah Alfelt, who actually looks to be a pretty solid prospect. He can play up top or off of the right wing, and he looks to have the building blocks of the Holy Trinity already. But there we have it for today's rebuild. That's the first kind of challenge one that I have done. I actually kind of enjoyed it. Super frustrating though, being that you don't really have a lot of control over who comes into the club. You just gotta use what is thrown at you, what is given to you, and kind of run with it and hope that your tactic is good enough to help you win trophies at the end of the day, which thankfully it was, and we won a quadruple in the 5th and final season. But if you wish to take this save any further, I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description, and you can download it from the download section of the Discord. And with the end of FM24 fast approaching, I do plan on doing one more challenge rebuild like this sort of coming up in the next few weeks. I also plan to do some of these in FM25 as well that are going to be pretty fun. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely feel free. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so hit the sub button. Right now on screen, I'll be popping up some of my more recent videos here on the channel if you wish to give them a look. And until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.